I'm back once again for another review, and even though my next marathon is right around the corner, I want to jump back to the GBA to talk about a Tiny Toon Adventures game this time. I've always loved watching this show on TV way back in the day, but I never really knew about or even got to play any of the video games until recently. And despite the fact that there have been quite a few titles based on this franchise that have come out over the years, the first one I actually played just so happens to be the last official game released from 2002. And I gotta say, for a first-time experience, the game in question is one of the most fun yet difficult GBA titles I've ever played. Tiny Toon Adventures Scary Dreams, or Buster's Bad Dream as it's called in the UK, is a side-scrolling beat-em-up in a similar vein to Tom and Jerry Magic Ring, except this time it's actually fun to play. The premise involves Buster and his friends fighting their way out of his own nightmares after Montana Max ambushes him and blasts him with some kind of dream ray gun or something. This game focuses on fighting waves of tricky enemies by stringing together combos and special moves to overwhelm the odds before they can overwhelm you. Each enemy has a unique attack pattern and will progressively get more dangerous as the story goes on. This includes the boss battles as well. You will solely play as Buster Bunny throughout the game, but you will also be able to summon his friends to back you up and add some spice to your regular combos. They can really come in the clutch depending on who you select, and interestingly enough, they come with their own health bar and can take damage just the same as you. In fact, when they take too much damage and die, you won't be able to summon their help until the next stage begins. So that means you must survive with your limited health supply until the last enemy falls. Like I said, each partner character has a unique trait about them, such as Babs performing a ranged AoE attack with her tennis racket, Plucky dropping anvils from the sky, Fifi freezing time for a second, or Dizzy Devil knocking enemies away from you. While they all have some useful purpose, they also function as a meat shield to keep the pressure off your back for a moment. As you'd expect, this game has very simple control mechanics that do feel quite responsive and fun to execute. You can jump, punch forward, uppercut, and use one of two special moves. Adding these moves in conjunction with your partner can make for some very satisfying combos, and I always love seeing the enemies bounce around the screen as you beat the crap out of each other, especially with one of the bosses in particular. As I mentioned before, the game is surprisingly difficult and I found myself dying more than a few times. Thankfully, you can restart the last level you left off on by putting in a 3-symbol password that the game provides after every loss. Now, to be honest, I don't know if it's just me being bad at the game or not, but I can't explain enough how much this game kicked my ass. It may seem like an easy baby game from an outside perspective, but trust me, it's really not. I can say despite the difficulty, the overall gameplay is certainly fun enough to keep you coming back for more. The high energy soundtrack is pretty catchy too and got stuck in my head for a while. Also, the sprite work for the characters looks great, capturing each of their distinct looks down to a science. If you still own an original GBA handheld or have access to Visual Boy Advance, I'd suggest giving it a try sometime. You know, if you actually enjoy playing these kinds of games, that is. Having said that, this will not be the last Tiny Toons game that I talk about on the channel, or the last GBA title for that matter. So look forward to more discussions like this in the future. Once again, my Looney Tunes PS1 Games Marathon will be starting within the next month or so. If you're interested in seeing that, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching Anubis Black Games, and I'll see you next time.